What's up, everybody? It's Realistic with Realistic Productions doing another tutorial for SoundOracle.net. I'm super excited about this one. I've been talking about this for a while, and I'm actually going to, for the next few weeks, start what I'm calling my Fundamental series. And what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to choose an instrument, and we're just going to be talking about the fundamental frequencies of that instrument. The good frequencies that we want to boost, and then we're also going to be talking about some frequencies that we might want to consider cutting out, and just really talk about what's important about it and different things to consider. So what I'm doing today is I'm going to go over kick drums today, and we're going to talk about the things that we want to boost in kick drums and the things that we want to look out for maybe cutting in boost drums. All right, so I got Pro Tools open up here, and as always, these techniques and tricks will work in any DAW. And if you haven't already, and if you're capable of it, go ahead and open up your DAW of choice and do this along with me. You'll find that you learn a lot more if you do this with me. So what we're going to be doing is I'm doing this series, the Fundamental series, and I just want to go over the fundamental frequencies of different instruments, of what you should be boosting, and maybe some problem areas that you should look out for. So these hopefully will be pretty short, and I'll just kind of dive in. And so what I got here is I got a couple different drums to choose from here, and I also got some live drums down here as well. So let's go ahead, we'll put some EQs on all these here, and let's go through a couple of these. What I'm going to do is I'll show you where these fundamental frequencies may be, and there's a general range, but do not take my word as gospel with this. This is music, and everything can be different. Different genres can call for different things. Different style kick drums can call for different things too. These are just general guidelines to kind of help you, just in case you ever kind of fall into this rut of like, oh boy, what should I do? Or maybe you're not at the point yet where you know where these frequencies generally are, but every song's going to be different. So, don't go off and be like, okay, so I saw on the video, to boost at 80, so I'm just always going to do that from now on. You may find yourself having to boost different parts for different songs. So what we're going to do is I got a couple different kick drums, and we'll just kind of go through them and see what we can do. So usually, to start out with, when we have a kick drum, the areas that we want to kind of pay attention to, where the fundamentals will be, are generally going to be between 60 hertz and 90 hertz. Now, if you have an 808 or a bass guitar going or a bass line going, you're probably going to skip between 60 and 70, and that fundamental frequency that you're really going to want to get some of that punchiness is going to be between 70 and 90. Now, a lot of people will want to boost kind of in this area of 110 to 180, usually around 120, and you will get some gutty punchiness there, but the problem is you're going to get a lot of resonating buildup around those areas, so I'll show you that too. And then another area that's pretty big fundamental is going to be in this area right here, 1.5K here, get more of that beater sound. And then around 2K, you'll get kind of that slap and that sharp. That's usually generally the beater against the skin of the drum. And so sometimes if you really wanted to cut through, that's a good place to boost. But otherwise, that's a place that you might want to cut because it will sound plasticky. So let's just kind of go through. And then areas that you might want to kind of look out for, again, you might want to start here and getting rid of all this, because this is where you're going to get a lot of boom, a lot of that boof sound, if you will, that you kind of don't want, especially if you got basses going on. And then we'll see a lot of muddiness around 200 to 300. So let's go into this kick drum and see what we got here. So let's go ahead and we'll boost, and I'll show you what I'm talking about with this 70 to 90 here. So I'm exaggerating it by a lot, like 10 dB, just to show you, but you can kind of hear there where that punchiness is being boosted. And if we come down here, I'll show you where some areas that we might want to avoid.
See how that already gets kind of muddy and just kind of overbuilds? Now, it might sound cool by itself, but you gotta imagine if you got a whole bunch of instruments and some bass or 808s going on, that's really gonna clash a lot with some things. So generally, for this one right here, I might consider boosting around 86 could kind of give that one a little bit more punch. And plus, these we're just listening to these by themselves, so anything could change. If we had some other things going on in the mix, that might not be the best place to go. But then we'll focus on another area that we want to look at for our fundamental here. So it just kind of helps the transient go a little bit. And then some areas that you might want to consider to cut a little bit for kick drums is usually around this 105 to 220. I generally will cut two areas within that range, usually between 105 and 130, and then again somewhere between 200 and 250. Can you hear how that's building up right there? So that's generally a place that I would want to cut because that can really build up, and on cheaper speakers that starts to distort. And then let's look for this other area. This is where we can get that muddy murkiness sound. Yeah, around 211 there. That might be a place that you want to consider to cut there. So I'm going in and out so you can hear the difference. And then sometimes, depending on the kick, you might not need all this up here. I know some people will go really drastic. I don't think that's a good idea. You should probably have some of this in there. You see that I'm not filtering a mass amount. I'm just starting at 9K and then filtering all that top in just because we're not even really hearing it, and then can clear some room up top. So those are fundamental frequencies of kick drums, some areas where you might want to boost and places that you might want to cut a little bit. And then I'll just show you on a couple different kick drums. I'm going to go through them really fast just so you can kind of see for different kick drums you want to do different things. So you see there, I cut up to about, 50, and it's not even really making that much of a difference. I can already hear that there's a buildup around this area. Feel free to zero in on the frequency too. Yeah, that's where a buildup is. I might want to boost around this area. Let's get some of those fundamentals. You can hear how cloudy that gets right there. Got some of the crunch there. Here's some of that plastic. Get rid of that. Without it. With it. Now you see we did lose a little bit of that bottom end there with it, but I'm also doing this in the sense that the kick drum's not going to be the only thing in the mix, that there's going to be a lot of other things, so just to make room for it. And then here's another one that you might hear, especially like in trap music, so, right. Get rid of some of that boominess. You hear all that. Might be a place to cut that a little bit. and we want to boost you a little bit. '85's got a good punch to it, I feel like. Got a little build up at 179. Might have another little build up around this area. So kind of duck down on that. See if we can find a little bit of the. This is such a low kick that we might not find much of the attack. It's a little bit of it there. And then too, we can cut quite a bit up top here. Without it. With it. And then let's focus on, maybe a little bit more of a old school sounding kick here. Something you might use in like some boom bap or something like that, or 90s style. Little build up right there. Might want to boost a little bit here. Get a little bit of that punchiness. Just resonating a little bit at 200. I'm sure this one's got some nice attack to it. So we've just cleaned that one up a little bit, and just, try to imagine that in a mix somewhere too, kind of see what that sounds like. And then we got a live kick drum here that I've recorded before. We got kick in, kick out. We just put this on a loop here. So you see, for a live kit, when we might not want that kind of sound in there, so we really might want to be a little bit more aggressive here, low cut. See, we got a little build up around 113. Might do a little boosting. Might get a little build up around this area. Might do a little another cut here because we'll get some muddiness. See how we get that plastic there? We get a little bit more of the beater right there. So might cut out some of that plastic. And then we got to blend in the kick out here. So we'll get a little bit more of the bottom end. You really hear this has a tone that's resonating, that's building up. So we want to cut that a little bit there. Want to find a good place where the fundamental is. That one's a little bit lower. It's probably another little build up here. So we'll duck that out a little bit. Maybe get in some more of that attack. Cut some of that plastic out. blend it in. So hopefully this fundamental series is helping you out. I'm going to do snare drums next and just kind of keep these things in mind, couple things to look out for.
So I'm hoping that you got a lot out of this tutorial today. Hopefully there's some information that was useful. If you're getting a lot out of this but you want to see more, please feel free to comment below. Let us know what kind of tutorials that you want to see in the future, and Oracle and I can definitely make that happen. We're always trying to find the content that you want to see. If you're liking what you're hearing from me, you can find me everywhere on social media at Realistic Productions. You can find me at the web, realisticproductions.net. You can find my man SoundOracle everywhere at SoundOracle. And if you're looking for the best 808s, the best kicks, the best snares with the craziest loops and samples you can find on the internet right now, go to SoundOracle.net. All right, till next time.